A few minutes ago, we showed you a family of four bracing to live in a wooden box with this heat on the streets of Central Phoenix. And they're far from alone. Right now, more than 280 families with children are currently on a shelter wait list.
Some families can get lost in that process, even with a network of resources. As the I-Team's Erica Stapleton shows us, it wasn't until 12 News shined the spotlight on the family's dire situation that they got the help they needed.
In the hole, that's homelessness.
We're so drained, we're so tired.
Jane and her family are deep, deep down.
I don't even know how we do it sometimes.
Their few belongings all crammed into this box her partner built by hand.
He's a true life handyman. He can fix anything.
But they can't seem to fix their family's bad situation.
We don't have no money to start, so that's what makes it the hardest.
The box is no place for the family of four, with a baby and a 5-year-old.
I'm 5.
And the further down the hole they are, the harder it seems to be to get help.
The families are hidden.
Jackson Fonder is the CEO of UMOM New Day Centers, the largest family shelter provider in the state. They have 150 rooms, but the countywide wait list is more than 280 families deep.
I've been here the last 3 years. We've not come close to functional zero.
The constant need stemming from a lot of reasons. Domestic violence, medical bills piling up, rent increases rising to the top of the list. Federal housing data for 2023 shows on average a 2-bedroom apartment in the Phoenix metro area is more than $1,700.
Oof, it's going to cost you. That's gone up $300, $400, $500, $600 a month in the last 3 years.
The Maricopa County Justice Court system tracks evictions, which have risen after the pandemic. Last year, there were more than 67,000 evictions in Maricopa County. This year is on pace to surpass that. In 2022, the state spent more than $71 million to help pay rent for more than 8,000 low-income households and allocated more than $500 million toward new low-income housing options. That won't be done for a while. It's not enough to keep up.
We build market rate housing here and luxury housing here. I mean, Phoenix is growing exponentially. Along the way, we sort of forgotten about low-income families. And now you have more and more families falling through the cracks.
The skyscrapers, a stark contrast to Jane's family box.
He found it all.
What they're left with after falling through those cracks. In Jane's case, they didn't connect with help through court, in their encounters with police, or most recently when their relative was evicted from the apartment they'd been staying in.
When you've been evicted, lost a job, been put in jail, you're constantly moving in and out of dire situations. It's not like anybody's there waiting for you to help you.
After seeing this setup, the 12 News I-Team called Phoenix's Office of Homeless Solutions to make sure Jane's family was on their radar. I sent the city the pin for the location, and within hours,
Oh my gosh.
an outreach team found them.
Feels good.
Their situation was considered an emergency, and they were able to pack up their belongings that evening.
I'm ready to go and get my life started again.
They would eventually be taken to UMOM, where Jane had been waiting on the wait list since at least July.
It was really hard, especially to find a place to go with a family.
Do you think providers are doing enough?
Yes, but I would also say, isn't there always room for improvement?
When we caught up with Jane's family a few days later at UMOM, we could see the type of room they were staying in, plumbing for the shower, rather than the water jug they built in the box.
It feels good to have our own space.
The 12 News I-Team intervention isn't the norm. At this point, families can be on the shelter waitlist for several weeks, as UMOM sets other families up to leave the shelter.
Jobs and housing are what end family homelessness.
Jane's partner is hopeful that he could maybe find a job in woodworking.
And start saving to get a place.
And Jane is just relieved
That's pretty.
to bring her daughters some sense of stability.
We let him get up in the room, okay?
Baby steps
Don't lose it.
out of the hole.
Eric, I think heartbreaking is the only word that comes to mind. And you certainly can't be expected to intervene in every single situation.
No, not at all.
How has this been for you to watch this family's journey?
You know, I think about them often because, you know, when you meet someone who's pregnant, you wonder what's going to happen with the baby. And unfortunately, it was hard to keep in touch with her because there's, you know, not always internet access. There's not always a phone that
they're always
they
on
have.
the move.
And that makes it harder for them to get jobs and just caring for the girls and finding food. There are other things that have to be prioritized, and there's just no stability. So you can see why you just keep falling further and further down into that hole. But something that families can try to do now before they get to that rock bottom point is called 211. That is what the county, that's what all the providers are trying to get people to do so they can connect with the right people to hopefully get them into a better situation without waiting several months or weeks.
Well, we're so glad they got the help that they
Yes.
desperately needed.
Yeah, for now, and hopefully they're, that's what UMOM does, is they try to get people into housing and set them up with jobs. So I wish them the best, and we'll try to stay in touch as best we can, hoping definitely the best for that family. And I appreciate them sharing all they had. It really shines a light on a huge issue here.
Erica, thank you. We know it can be very tough to figure out what resources might actually help a family in need. But right now, as Erica mentioned, the best way to see what's available is to call 211. That's the statewide helpline that will get you in touch with local support, including money to pay utility bills or if you've received an eviction notice. Plus, 211 is looking for volunteers and donations. We have more information on this story on 12news.com.